Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Az85 here. I'm bringing you a Forza Motorsport 7 video. Today we're doing something a bit different, guys. We are in R class. We're in the homologated series. It's the Forza GT endurance one. I do believe that's what it's called, and basically it's homologated R class, so it's R835, I do believe, is the PI. And basically it just provides a much better race, to be fair, because it's more about tactics as well as just raw driver skill and ability. The tune does have a huge impact on the outcome of the results of the race, because a good tune with a very an average racer, should we say, is going to be able to knock top 5, 4, even top 3 finishes out consistently. So yeah, I just thought I'd dip into the R-Class series and just to see what the fuss was all about. I've upped the quality of my Elgato just a bit to try and increase the graphics and the content for you, to make it look and feel hopefully a bit better when you do watch it. So yeah guys, I've actually been thinking about how to increase the level of content and the quality of content on the channel, and a lot of people were actually recommending this class in this series. However, the only thing is, with this series, it's actually extremely hard to tune. I'm kind of tuning the opposite way as to how I would tune. I like oversteer, whereas in this class you do kind of need a bit of understeer. Well, more understeer so than oversteer, because oversteer, it slows you down, because people who have top leaderboard times in this category, in this class, sorry, all operate with traction control on. And obviously if you're going into corners with your back end steering, rear wheel steering isn't necessarily a thing. You need just enough lift off oversteer to point the front of the car, but you don't want too much, because it'll just slow you right down, because it'll just cut the power and slow you down drastically. So we've got quite a good race here. As you can see, we're on lap 2 of 12. My mate there did knock me, but fair play to the guy. He did, I think, let me back pass, so fair play. It was just a lucky that he did connect with me, because he's got so much more grip mid corner than I have, because I think the Nismo GTR LM, whatever it's called, it's got about 7.3, 7.4 maybe. I don't know what the best car is. I don't know if there is a best car. I like the Porsche, this RSR. I think it's quite a funky looking car, quite wide. I like the orange lights, and I just think it's cool. I don't use Porsches very often, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool, so that's the reason why I used it and tuned it. So if you guys do know what are the overpowered cars in the class, can you please let me know? Because I'd like to tune them, because sometimes you do get such a close race, and it's so hard to overtake, because down the straight you're not quick enough, but in the corners you're kind of equal, if not a tiny bit better. So we're in 3rd place here now after that little knock on corner 3. 2nd place I do believe is in the RSR as well. He's in a Porsche, and I'm looking basically anywhere I can to try and sneak up the inside of him, and I'm feeling it here going around the outside, but then I realised it's too close, it's too even Stevens, as they say. Nice drive coming out of there after his mistake, and I'm trying to clip the curb and corner without stepping the back end out too much, because as I said earlier, it does kind of slow you down quite a bit, and you need all the speed you can coming on the straights. I've got a few tips that I'm going to go through later on in the video for this series, or R class in general, and especially if you're using traction control, because it's not just all about raw speed. Like I said earlier, you've got to have a good tune, you've got to have the consistency. Consistency is key in this, but I'll touch on that later on in the video. I've got 2 races here. I've got this one here. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to put the full 12 laps on, don't worry. It's mainly just the action-packed segments of the races, and as you can see, it's quite a long video, so that just goes to show how ace the racing is. Opposed from being like a 6, 7, 8 minute race with hardly anything, get a couple of corners at the start, we've got literally over 10 minutes worth of content here, and it's absolutely great racing. Yeah, as you can see, I'm really chasing hard, and normally on any other hopper like A class, S class, B class, I'd be right on his tail. I'd probably be, to be fair, I'd probably be in first, and I'd probably overtaken him by now, and I'm gone. But because of how close and how tight this series is, it's absolutely great. Provides good racing. If you love racing, give this a go, boys. You'll absolutely adore it, because I love it now. I love it. The races are 15-20 minutes long, give or take, and yeah, I just think it's really good fun, and it'd be good to try and get some of you guys on board and have some races with you as well in this class, so you can be part of the video too. So boys, time for some tips now, and we start with tip number 1, but that's only if you do like tuning yourself. I do believe car builds make a huge impact on how you perform in the race. Tyre wear is not really that much of an issue. Obviously your car does suffer tyre wear and simulation damage. However, what I do recommend is just try and go for grip. Try and go for as much grip as you can. But what I want you to do is try and get the most grip you can from the back end. So instead of it being the front end, you need it from the back end. And the reason being, well, for me anyway, I run traction control, which I hate, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely hate using it. But I do feel that I drive faster with traction control on in this kind of class. So yeah, if I can give you the number 1 tip, it would be traction control and tune for understeer. It just helps you be able to put that power down coming out of corners, even a bit earlier in the corners, so the back end steps out ever so slightly, not too much though. So yeah, here we are into race number 2. This is Brands Hatch, the Indy circuit. We've got 27 laps, so this was a bit of a grind, a bit of a grueler, but it was fun racing. I think the dad's, I think his name is. He was quite a good racer, very clean, very quick as well, and he gave me a right good run for my money in this race. So yeah, there's going to be some good overtakes, some good lineups for overtakes, and there's going to be long overtakes, you know, basically the whole way down the straight, you know, neck and neck, and then straight up the inside, things like that. So I'll leave that in for you to look at. Yeah, tip number 2, it's just going to be consistency, guys. Consistency is the most important thing. Now look, this is me backing in. This is what I'm on about tip number 1. Look, I've just set this car up a bit too oversteery, so all I did is get straight back into the tuning setup, increase the decrease the rear anti-roll bars slightly, and increase the front bump and rebound. And basically now it's an absolute monster of a tune. I love it to bits, and I've got 2 tunes for it, one for speed and one for grip. It's just got different levels of aero. So yeah, back to the tip. The consistency, like I say, is so important, and basically the best way to obtain the consistency is tip number 3, and that's just run your race. Run your race, guys. Don't try to catch them up as quick as you can. Don't try and do this, don't try and do that. Literally just, if you run the braking line, brake where it says brake, turn when it says turn, accelerate when it says accelerate. Literally, promise you. I used to try and chase people down, used to try and push the car as much as I can, and that's when I started oversteering. Like you see on the first corner there, the back end stepped out, slowed me right down, and I lost almost probably about 7/10, which in this class is a huge margin. So what I actually had to do was learn as I went on, and you know, it is kind of difficult, especially in the rain, how to brake turn without the back end stepping, especially in such a close, tight and heated race that, you know, I'm currently in. So but yeah, both me and the guy in first place, we kept making mistakes because the racing's so close. You know, you're trying to get the gap as soon as you've got, like, look, this lad here, he oversteered going into the corners. I didn't. I absolutely mastered it right now. And look, I'm hot on his case again. I've gained about 2 or 3 tenths. And look, now I'm literally within touching / overtaking distance now. So just one little tiny error like that makes a huge difference. Like I said, boys, you know, you've just got to try and be consistent. And the way to be consistent is just do your own race. Run your own race. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's just what you've got to do. You've got to just put your head down, where it says brake, brake, where it says accelerate, accelerate, where it says turn, turn. Simple as that. And if somebody gets too close or in your way, just sneak up the inside of them and brake a tiny bit later than you normally would, and yeah, you should be a-okay. So yes, boys, I'm going to talk to you now a bit about the race, because it's going to start heating up again now. I'm cutting it down into more finer segments now, where there's more overtakes, more action, and more entertainment for you guys. Mistakes from me, mistakes from him, all kinds of stuff that you expect, especially in this R-Class hopper. So I'm hot on his case. Obviously, we're coming against a lap marker here now, and I got a really nice drive there. It was unfortunate to put all 4 wheels on the curbs there and dirty the lap, but you know, it's not technically corner cutting, it's just using all of the track. So here I'm just deciding to sort of run my own race. I've kind of mastered that first corner now. I understand exactly how to turn, use the brakes and accelerate out without getting too much back end oversteer, meaning I can power on past him. So early on the brakes there, as you can see, look, there she goes, straight up the inside. I knew that he's not as strong as me in that first corner, so I need to use that to my advantage. And here now, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to pull my head down, pull the pin at 95% of my effort. So I'm not going to go all out, hitting it like apex after apex. I'm going to try and be subtle, try and be smooth, consistent, and try and get that 0.5 seconds all the way up to 3 or whatever. So yeah, first corner again, absolutely smashed it. And as you can see, he's still there, you know, he's still there. It's not been much happening, you know, that was 5 laps ago. So big mistake here from me. Clipped the water, a bit of aquaplane, sent the back end out, and you know, he's right back in me. I had to let him go there. I had to let him go with that, especially with that little river that goes across the track there on that corner, which does catch a lot of people out. So just be careful going down there if you do race on the Indy circuit or on the full circuit, sorry, at Brands Hatch in the rain. So I'm now thinking, right, I need to start being a bit more tactical here. How am I going to win this race? Now, don't get me wrong, I can't overtake him and just pull away. The guy's a quick racer. So I'm thinking, I might have to just pit in just before him, you know. But I'm also thinking I can't break my 50-50 rule, which is just over 50%. That's when I like to pit in. So with this track, obviously there's 27 laps. So for me, I'd probably pit on lap 14 because it's over 50% of the way, meaning I'm going to have more grip throughout the whole race. People who pit in, say on this track again, 27 laps, pit in on lap 6, say lap 7. By the time lap 20 comes, or 22, 23, they're going to have about 40-50% tyre wear. And they're going to be about 2 seconds a lap slower. So if you can, boys, that's going to be another tip. Here comes the long overtake that I'm look at this. No, I've been eyeing this overtake up for a long time. I know I'm better in this corner than him, and I needed to get it up the inside of him to make it work and make it stick. Super tight on the apex there, nice and smooth coming out of the corner, and boom, there we are. We're back into first place, and hopefully, you know, we can smash the pit stop, make no more errors, no more mistakes, and bring it home for the boys. So yeah, like I say, if you do like the content that I'm providing, especially with this kind of class, because it does provide a much better race, I'm more than happy to try and upload at least one, maybe 2 races, and just cut them down and give you the, you know, the overtakes, the mistakes, all that sort of jazz, and hopefully try and make you laugh. You know, if I can get some like rammers and cheaters and all sorts. Yeah, so the tuning setup, I'm hopefully going to try and get this Porsche out for you. Lap 16 is where I pit in. This makes a huge impact as well, how you actually enter the pit. Some people are kind of like me and just try and go in as quickly as you can without clipping grass, cones, tyre walls, etc., walls itself, whereas other people literally just go 100 mile an hour, boom, straight into it, and then kind of like face the consequences there. Whereas what I do, sometimes I do actually lose out because I'm kind of too slow going into the pits, because I don't use the pits very often because it's not what I'm used to doing, so I don't know the quickest route in, etc. So I come out in 3rd place here now, and I'm just thinking that you can't go quick straight away. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I just feel like there's a tiny bit less grip than when I went in. So I kind of like try and keep it as tight as I can to the apex, trying to keep it, you know, coming out of corners away from the grass to try and, you know, aid the tyres, aid the grip, and all in all, just try and keep that consistent level of speed throughout the whole lap, because that's what's going to win me races. I know how to overtake, I know how to set people up for overtakes, and I know mentally and tactically on how to basically just get into people's heads and make them make the mistake, because that's how a lot of my overtakes do happen. I get really close, really like bumper to bumper, less than like 10 foot away, and let them make the mistake. That's just how I like to be, because it saves me contact, because they make the mistake, I just straight up the inside and see you later, pull the pin. So yeah, 3rd place. I'm going to try and hope to just knock these laps out as smooth and as quickly as possible. hoping the guy in first place, who was now pitting by the way, is in there just a tiny bit longer than I am, or I've just gained enough speed over these past 2 laps to, you know, maybe add maybe 2, 3, 4 tenths onto him, and so when he comes out he's not within overtaking distance like he was basically before I went in the pits. So yeah, there's some of the tips that I've got for you. So as long as you follow them as best as you can, I think you're going to win races like you just are. So just to sort of recap over the tips that I've got, it was the car build. Make sure it kind of understeers, sorry, more than it does oversteer, and if you can, just run traction control and take manual and clutch off. Just use manual. You don't need the clutch. All it does is it provides just a bit too much oversteer when you're coming out of corners. You blip the throttle, blip the clutch, sorry, and spins the wheel. So we're coming up to the dying embers of the race now, lap 27 of 27. As you can see, I pulled a nice gap on him because, like I said, I just put my head down and just went for it. So here we are, guys, just coming out of the last corner now. The rain has kind of stopped now and it's kind of drying up, so the lap times were getting quicker and quicker. Yeah, if you do want to see this tune, let me know down below. If not, I can just go back to the you know, the typical BAS, them sort of classes, or go to the top end of R if you know, if that's what you're looking for instead. So please like, comment and subscribe if you're new. Let me know down below what you want to see, and as always, guys, stay tuned for more.